Hello and welcome to the JB&M Sports Fanatic channel. Appreciate you guys so much for coming through for today's video, guys. And so here we are after an exciting week one. We saw a lot of great games. A lot of surprises, a lot of teams stepping up. It was a lot to talk about in week one that we went through. And so, yeah, it was absolutely amazing. And so what we're going to do in this video is we're going to start covering the week two predictions that I have for this game. And so, but really quickly, if you are new to the channel, go on ahead and press that subscribe button. Make sure to subscribe and like this video. I'm telling you, we're producing a lot of content, NFL news, live streams, all that stuff on one channel. But without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about week two. So yeah, I'll go ahead and start at the top here where they're talking about the Broncos going down to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And so, yeah, when you look at the Broncos and how they played, they pretty much was able to force some turnovers, some Daniel Jones, fumbling the ball in inconvenient times. And that Broncos defense looked good, and that offense looked pretty well as well. I saw Teddy Bridgewater make the plays that he needed to make. And so, yeah, I like this Broncos team a lot. Matter of fact, the entire AFC West, they really was impressive in week one. They really all went out there and got a W. And you sort of have to win every week in that division, believe me. And as for Jacksonville, my goodness, the beating that they took by the Houston Texans, that one was one of the probably more surprising victories in terms of how Houston was able to win in that one. And so, but Trevor Lawrence, he did, go out there, throw for over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Problem is he had 3 interceptions as well. And that third touchdown literally came with about 5 seconds left in the game. They were never in that game. And so I'm expecting for the Broncos to go down here on the road and beat the Jacksonville Jaguars here. And I expect that they're going to continue to ask Urban Meyer about that USC head coaching job, regardless of what he says, because, when things get bad, Urban Meyer gets going. That seems to be the tendency. All right, next up, we've got the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. And so right now, the Miami Dolphins coming here is the only team from the AFC East that was able to collect a W last week in a close one against the New England Patriots. Buffalo, they had a surprising loss at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nothing against the Pittsburgh Steelers, because I think the Pittsburgh Steelers were definitely one of the most underrated teams. That a lot of people, including myself, did not give them, as much credit as they probably should have. But, Buffalo still got Josh Allen. They still got Stephon Diggs. Miami with Tua. I think Buffalo's just a better team, and I think Buffalo's going to show up and take this W and get their first win of the season in this one. It's going to come down to Miami. Can they really slow down Buffalo's offense? And last year, again, when Tua played Buffalo, just to end out the season, he had like 5 interceptions or something crazy like that. I don't expect a game like that by any means, but I still think Buffalo gets that win. Next up, the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, so Pittsburgh versus the Raiders. We saw the Raiders win a thriller over the Baltimore Ravens that literally kept us on our toes the entire game. Talk about one heck of a Monday Night Football game. That's how you start off Monday Night Football, believe me. I think it had the most views since dating back to maybe like 2003 or something like that. So absolutely huge there. But you're going down to Pittsburgh, or should I say Blitzburg, because Pittsburgh, they're going to be able to, the way that I saw how Baltimore was able to keep, Waller in check for 3 quarters, it really wasn't until, I guess you can say, that second half where he started to really start going off. But a lot of those was drops and stuff. But yeah, against Pittsburgh, it's going to be tough to move the ball. It's going to come down to, can Josh Jacobs, him and Kenyon Drake, can they do enough to help this Raiders team on the road down there in Pittsburgh? I really like this matchup here for both teams, but and then the Raiders defense, I like how impressive they look against, that Pittsburgh team. And in this division, both of these teams know that they have to come out and win. They both won last week. But I'm going to give this one to Pittsburgh. I'm going to give it to Pittsburgh. I think them being able to beat Buffalo and being at home against the Raiders, I think the home team in this matchup would win. If it was down at the Raiders, I probably would go Raiders here. But I'm going to go Pittsburgh at home to win this one. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and give a final score here. I'm going to say Pittsburgh wins the final score of 24-20 in this one. And so 24-20. Meanwhile, just to give the scores for the other one, I got Broncos over the Jaguars, maybe 31-17 or something. Yeah, probably about 31-17. Buffalo of Miami, probably 29-16, something like that. All right, Houston going down to Cleveland. So you've got Tyrod Taylor going against a team that, if you may not remember, he did play for the Cleveland Browns for like a couple games before they benched him in favor of Baker Mayfield. I believe he got hurt. And so, yeah, Baker Mayfield took over then. And so, but Tyrod, I mean, he got off to a great start there. Can he keep it going? I mean, for sure, for fantasy purposes, if you can start Brandon Cooks in this one and you don't have a better option, Brandon Cooks, he can probably have a good game in this one because I think Houston's going to air it out in this one a lot. But I love what the Cleveland Browns have. They should have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs if they were able to play 4 quarters, but instead they only played 3 quarters, ended up costing them in the 4th quarter. I don't think they make that same mistake here, although Houston did impress me last week. And so I really want to see how competitive this game is going to be between them. I think it'll probably be closer than a lot of people think, but I've got Cleveland winning this one. I think the final score is going to be Cleveland about 33, Houston 28. All right. Patriots and the Jets. I'll start talking about the Jets here. Zach Wilson, against the Carolina Panthers. It took a minute before he got going, but once he finally started finding guys like Corey Davis late in the game, we'll see if that carries over. I still don't like their running back situation that much, and they've been totaled by injuries and stuff. But I do think, Zach Wilson has a very bright future for the Jets. As for the Patriots, they were so close to beating Miami. Damian Harris fumbling the ball, at the 15-yard line at the end of the game. That was a tough pill to swallow. Bill Belichick's going to have a game plan against rookie quarterbacks. I've got the Patriots winning. Final score being 33-20. 33-20. All right, so we've got the Chiefs and the Ravens, and it's important to note that that's going to be a Sunday night game, actually. So Kansas City Chiefs going on the road at the Baltimore Ravens. I think this is going to be a really, really tough game right here, honestly. I mean, just coming off a big game against the Cleveland Browns in which they made that comeback at the end. Baltimore, couple key fumbles by Lamar that really cost them that game. And you don't want to get down 0-2 in this division. I mean, Lamar being at home, there's going to be a lot of electricity there. He really wants to win this big game right here. Oh, man, guys, this is really tough here. I think that the Ravens are going to show up and they're going to look to show out. I mean, I wonder how they're going to be how the Chiefs will try to stop Lamar Jackson. I just feel like, wow, being at home, I'm going to go ahead and take an upset here. I'm going to take that the Ravens find some way to win this one, the final score being 27-24. Now, I know the Chiefs are very well, should be favorites in this game, but I'm going to go ahead and take Baltimore at home Sunday night. I'll take the Ravens in this one. All right, so the Rams going down to the Colts. My goodness, Seattle really torched that secondary of the Colts. It really surprised me. Carson Wentz going and having to keep him upright against this Rams defense, and obviously the Colts, they've been dealing with injury, so you wonder just how healthy they are. Meanwhile, for the Rams, they came out, and Matthew Stafford probably had the best game he ever played at the quarterback position. And so what a way to get started here. And then obviously we know what that defense can do for the Rams. It's down in Indianapolis. They just coming off of a loss to the Seahawks. I think they pick up a second loss here as well to the Rams. And so that'll put them at an 0-2 start. Now, I do think that the Colts, they're a team that's going to start off slow. But then, as guys get more healthy and stuff, they'll start to win a little bit more. But, yeah, I think Aaron Donald and company, Jalen Ramsey, that's going to be a lot to overcome, even if at home for the Colts. But we'll see how it goes. But, yeah, I will take the Rams to win this one, probably a final score of about, let's go 28-20. 28-20. And so, yeah, all right. So next up, the Cincinnati Bengals and the Chicago Bears, guys. Going down to Chicago, can they rebound? The offense looked pretty good. Andy Dalton didn't look all that bad, to me. He looked actually pretty good out there. David Montgomery, he was running with some force, but the Cincinnati Bengals, my goodness, those Bengals, they were able to upset the Minnesota Vikings in that when they were at home, and I think that made the difference here. I'm going to go ahead and believe that Chicago's defense isn't going to play as bad as they did, throughout the entire course of that last opening game. So I'm going to go ahead and say this is very tricky, but I'm going to say that somehow, hold on, I've got to really think about this one. I'm about 50-50, but I'm going to go ahead and say the Bears win this one 20-19. Yeah, they find a way to win 2019. All right, the Titans versus the Seahawks. Now, the Titans were embarrassed by the Arizona Cardinals. There's no other way to put it. Tennessee, I know Tennessee fans had extremely high expectations. A lot of people were saying that this is a 14-plus win team. I think that Arizona game probably died down to expectations a little bit. They've clearly got a lot of things they need to work on. And right now, the way the Seattle Seahawks look against the Indianapolis Colts, I believe that them being at home, the way that Russell Wilson's out there throwing, DK Metcalf, I think he's going to have a big game in this one because the Titans, I mean, you look at their defensive back this year as opposed to last year. They lost 3 of their 4 starters from last year. And from what I saw against the Cardinals, I'm not liking this again because they're going against a pair of solid receivers once again. And yeah, that's going to be really tough to go down to Seattle, especially at Seattle too. I know Derrick Henry, I think he'll, have a much better game in this one, but I got to go with the Seahawks in this one at home. So sorry, Titan fans, got to go with the Seattle Seahawks here. All right, so the Dallas Cowboys, who had a superb opening game matchup and fell shy because of, the kicker missed a total of 7 points, versus the Chargers at home. A lot of people are going to be feeling Dallas right now, as they, should. And Dallas going on the road, but to the Chargers, I'm going to say the Chargers hold their own at home here, and they win with the final score being 26-24. But I think it's going to go down to the wire, guys. I think it's going to be a really good one. But I've got the Chargers coming up and winning this one at home. All right, the Giants at the Washington football team. Well, with it being at Washington, there's no Ryan Fitzpatrick here. Ryan Fitzpatrick won't be there for them. Antonio Gibson, he's going to have to really carry the ball well in this one. They have to get the ball inside the hands of their playmaker, Tyler Heineke. He's going to play huge. And then you got the Giants, Daniel Jones. He had a couple key fumbles last week. And then going against this Washington front four, that's going to be a tough ask right there, I think. And I think ultimately at the end of the day, I've got Washington winning this one, final score of 24-17, Washington wins. All right, so the New Orleans Saints versus the Carolina Panthers. The Saints, they looked impressive. Jameis Winston, 5 touchdowns, and most importantly, no interceptions. My goodness, that looked extremely well. And now you're talking about the Carolina Panthers coming off of their win. Sam Darnold beat this old team, the Jets, but these Saints aren't the Jets. I like how this Saints team looked. I'm going to choose the Saints on the road here down in Carolina. Although I think Carolina, is going to put up a really good fight, but I think the Saints find a way to win. Final score being 35-26. Saints win this game. All right, so the 49ers versus the Eagles. And so, yeah, the 49ers, they got off to a good start. No team passed the ball more than the 49ers did. They attempted 57 passes this previous week. But the Eagles, they looked really sharp. Jalen Hurts, of course, they were going against that Atlanta defense. And this 49ers team isn't that Atlanta defense, but at the same time, this 49ers team did allow Detroit to get back in it. I think we can probably expect the 49ers to still find a way to come up with a victory here. Something along the lines of San Francisco 37. Eagles probably falls shy about 29 points. So 37-29. It's probably going to be a lot more points than people expect for the Eagles to score in this one, but ultimately 49ers still find a way to win. All right, Falcons at the Buccaneers, the defending champs. They came out. They was hitting the strides. You're talking about all those weapons. They have a receiver. I know Rojo's going to get the start in this one. As for the Falcons, it was a little disappointing, in terms of that offense. I expected more from them against the Eagles here. And going against that Tampa Bay defense, seeing how Dallas was able to torch him, I don't think it's going to make a difference here. Tampa Bay is going to find a way. Tampa Bay is going to win this game. Tampa's going to win. The final score is going to probably be 30 to about 30-20. They're going to win 30-20 against the Falcons. All right, so the Minnesota Vikings and the Arizona Cardinals here. My goodness, Arizona got off to a great start. That I said in the offseason, I was harping all offseason long. You guys can check out my videos as well. I was saying that Kyler Murray, I think, is going to have an MVP caliber season. I still believe that here. The Vikings, they took a tough loss against the Cincinnati Bengals, and I think they're going to end up taking another loss here. This time the Cardinals are going to win, final score being 27-26 this time, 27-26. I think the Vikings are going to put up one heck of a fight, but I think the Cardinals are going to win this one at home. Monday Night Football, the Lions versus the Packers. Aaron Rodgers, he showed his you-know-what, guys. He really just went out there and just looked like he didn't care. He didn't want to be out there. I started him in my fantasy football team. That was a mistake. And so we'll know for sure by the end of this game if Aaron Rodgers goes up there and he looks like that again against the Detroit Lions, time to highly be concerned, in my opinion. But we're not going to panic because it's just one game, and I think that Saints defense, they played like a very good defense as well. So we'll see how things turn out. But, yeah, I think, Detroit, Jared Goff, he started getting things going. Hawkinson had a big game. Swift had a big game. But I think, Aaron Rodgers should be able to rebound here and win at home. So I'm going to go Green Bay wins, final score of, let's go Green Bay 31, Detroit 23. And there you have it, guys. Those are my picks for week 2. Let me know your thoughts. Who do you guys have in terms of winning some of these key matchups? Which ones do you agree with, disagree with? Hey, it's football. We know anything can happen, but definitely we enjoy being, positive about our picks, because obviously we're all just speculating at the end of the day. Different factors changes the outcomes, different many factors. But of course, I appreciate you guys, especially if you made it this far into the video. Really appreciate you guys so much for all the support. And make sure if you haven't already that you do like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for joining me, and see you guys next time.